That's not the question.
And people
it's not about Mr. Sharif.
No.
The question is whether or not people are scared to protest
I'm saying why?
because of the previous crackdown that we've seen.
Why do you say that? Why are
Why
people
do I say?
scared?
No, I'm asking you the question.
No,
do you think people are scared?
I think people are not scared. People now understand, and his true face has been. People know about it, and people realize that he couldn't answer what was asked, and he had been on a responsible position, a constitutional position, the highest office of the government, which is the Prime Minister. He has to answer everything which he needs to answer during his tenure.
And what will happen to people if they do come out to protest?
Well, I think this is preemptive to say. I don't see any protests happening. It's been a few hours now that he's arrested and he's in jail, and court had ordered that if people had or wanted to protest, they're free to protest. But I don't see any people out on the streets.
Will they be arrested if they do come out to protest?
We don't arrest political protests. We have drawn a clear distinction because we are not fascist government like Mr. Khan, and we believe in democracy because we've been victim to that curtailment of freedom of expression. And at one point in time, it's very interesting that I would just like to mention here that at one point in time, the two first rows and benches of the opposition when Mr. Khan was the Prime Minister, and he was called the media predator during his times by international organizations who have improved our rating by 7% in freedom of expression. So the entire opposition was in jail. Their daughters were in jail. Their sisters were in jail. And we didn't say that this is attack on we didn't do any attacks on hospitals, schools. We used to have miles and miles of peaceful protests. We were under the PDM flag, the Pakistan Democratic Movement flag, which was led by the opposition. We didn't see any attack on any buildings or PTV or Radio Pakistan or ambulances or schools or hospitals. This is a new phenomenon. I've heard for the first time this definition of a petrol bomb used by a political party, for God's sake. And when you tell them to give answers, when you ask him to give your defense, and they attack hospitals and schools, I've never seen it in any democracy around the world.
You were saying you don't arrest political protesters. We've already seen people who were outside Mr. Khan's house who were chanting, waving flags, and then very quickly picked up by the police.
When?
Today.
I have no report of any of that.
We do, because we have BBC we're down on the scene.
I think anybody there's a way of a political peaceful protest. If you are attacking the buildings, schools and hospitals.
They were not attacking buildings.
And
they were outside
I don't think on chanting slogans or support of Mr. Khan, few people I didn't see. First of all, a large number outside his house. But if there were any, I don't think that they were arrested.
We saw them being picked up.
I don't think that if they were not creating any law and order situation, they were picked up, maybe, but I have no reports of anything because I'm just coming from a Senate committee. I would find out if there is any, but I don't have any information prior on that. Of Pakistan Muslim League in Nawaz. This Imran Khan's arrest has nothing to do with politics of Pakistan or has nothing to do with political persecution, I would say, because this case has been in courts and has completed the entire due course of the law, and has been past all the stages of investigations and also the trial, and the trial court has given this judgment, which is there now, and he's been arrested. It has nothing to do with politics. Somebody who's unable to give the evidence in his defense, where there were allegations that he's been misusing his authority to, when there was a question asked about the state gifts that were given to him, and there are other 4 cases that are in courts, trial courts also, which is about £190 billion, then there's Cypher, then there's 9th May, and then foreign funding. So this is one of the cases that is completed, and the trial court has given judgment.
What does arresting one of Pakistan's most popular leaders in the run-up to a general election say about the state of Pakistan's democracy?
Well, the thing is that, again, as I said, you can't let go a person who's violated the authority which was given to him as the Prime Minister of the country. And just because there are elections down the road and you can't arrest him, there's no correlation between the two. You remember when the third-time Prime Minister, Mr. Nawaz Sharif, was arrested. The elections were done there, but he was answering all these allegations and he was arrested with his daughter, put in jail. And then later, when Mr. Imran Khan came into power, he jailed all his political opponents and then used his authority, used NAB, used FIA. We didn't do that. There were courts, the law took its own course, and he was the one who was awaiting law. He was the one who was sidestepping law and was not answering when the court used to ask questions, when there were warrants presented to him at his residence. We saw that Zaman Park operation. There was an attack on judicial complex, and we saw 9th May. So one person who was awaiting and sidestepping law all this time in 15 months. And there's a court which has given judgment. So if the court believes that this is the dishonesty proven beyond doubt, and they've given their judgment, so it's like any citizen of the country who's been proven guilty.
It's pretty useful for your party though that your main political opponent has just been disqualified in the run-up for a general election.
Well, the thing is that there is a party which is intact there, and the party
yes, but the party
it is not
significantly had a crackdown in the course of the last few months.
And the thing is, you have to really draw distinction when there's 9th May, an insurrection of 9th May. There was an attack on sensitive installations, military installations, hospitals, ambulances, like the Capitol Hill attack. And then you have seen that the people who were involved into the Capitol Hill, they all are convicted, and they all are in jail and are answerable and accountable. So the law, you have to be accountable for your deeds and law. This has nothing to do with politics. A person who's been proven guilty by the court has to be arrested. There's no second question about it. There's no any other argument about it.
Are Pakistan's courts political?
Sorry?
Pakistan's courts political?
Well, there is, you really have to draw a distinction here too, because this is trial court. And then there is a process of investigation that has been completed. The reference has been sent to the trial court where this investigation, and ample opportunity was provided to Mr. Khan in 40 hearings, which he attended only 3. So there's this session court, there's the trial court, and then there's high court, and then there's Supreme Court. All the courts can't be politicized because the high court has given verdict on foreign funding on the Toshakhana that the trial court is doing the right thing, where the trial is being done and ample opportunity of defense is being given to Imran Khan. So these are the courts, all the courts, and the court saying that the courts are political or not, I think is not the right argument in this case.
But you've just spoken about Nawaz Sharif. When he was going through the court system, it sounded like you thought that was a political.
Well, the thing is that
so it sounds like it's political when you want it to be, and it's not political when you don't want it to be.
No, it's not that. You can't draw a parallel to Mr. Nawaz Sharif. When there was allegation on Mr. Nawaz Sharif, he gave his defense and attended 150 hearings of the NAB court. There was no sensitive installation set on fire, no ambulance, no hospital, no mosque, no school, and there was a clear distinction that when he was asked to answer and was held accountable, he wrote to Supreme Court to start the investigation under suo motu. Here there's a different case. There's an allegation. You have to answer by evading, by defeating the law, and by attacking the institutions. You can't get away from the law of the land. You can't draw a parallel between Mr. Nawaz Sharif and Imran Khan.
Do you not worry that in the course of the last few months we've seen quite a significant crackdown on the political party? We have seen the powers of a caretaker government be increased. And we've seen the powers of some of the police be increased. Do you not worry that you are setting your own party up for this exact same treatment as soon as you are no longer politically expedient to the establishment?
I think you can't hoodwink the public all the time and deceive the public all the time. It's the other way around. I think there has been a crackdown by Mr. Khan inciting violence, instigating the workers on the police, the rangers, the state organs. It has been other way around. When he was asked to answer, there was a crackdown by Mr. Khan, and we have evidence available. We've seen Zaman Park operation where the police was welcomed by petrol pumps. Women and children were used as human shields. So I don't see how it is a crackdown on a party, because if there was a
most of the political leaders are now left.
No,
there have been thousands of individuals who have been in prison. Mr. Khan's